Since June 18th, heavy to torrential rain has been falling continuously in many parts of Hunan Province. Rainfall levels have broken historical records. Because of the intense downpours, water levels in several reservoirs in Lishui River basin, which is part of the Dongting Lake system, have risen above warning levels. Dams like the Changtan River Power Station, Dongmen Dam, and Sanjiangkou Dam in Shimen have been releasing large amounts of water. But the water volume is too much to handle, and now 310 reservoirs and dams across the province are facing overflow risks. In places like Cili County in Shimen County in Changde and Longshan County in Shaanxi, flooding has hit hard. Many areas are water, and multiple people have lost their lives. Videos online show that the entire dam at the Huayan Hydro Power Station on the Lishui River is already submerged. The nearby Huayan substation is also in danger and could be flooded at any moment. A local villager named Mr. Wang said, "Several power stations are discharging water, and it's the regular people who suffer. At the Huayan station on the Lishui River, the water is so high that it's pouring over the top. The gates don't even need to be opened anymore. If the power station collapses, downtown Zhangjiajie will be gone." It's not just dams overflowing. Floodwaters from the rivers are starting to spill over the embankments too. According to Chinese media, the Lishui River saw its first major flood of 2025 on June 19th. At 1:40 p.m. that day, the flood peak at the Sanjiangkou station on the main upstream segment reached 262 meters, which is 2.38 meters above the guaranteed safety level. The water flow rate hit 7,300 cubic meters per second, making it the biggest flood since 1998. Other stations, like the Liangshui Coast Station on the northern source of the Lishui and the Cili River in Longshan County, have also seen their highest flood levels ever since being built. Sanjiangkou County, located upstream on the Lishui, was hit by extremely heavy rain, and the flood peak moving through made things worse. A serious flood disaster followed. Many shops in the county town were submerged, and business owners suffered huge losses. One fruit store near the Lishui Bridge had just taken out a loan of 800,000 yuan to stock up. Then the flood came and ruined everything. We didn't have time to move any of the goods out. Once the government told us to evacuate, we left right away and didn't bring anything. The water came so fast. Within an hour, it filled up. We haven't even finished paying off the loan, and now it's like this. Everything rotted overnight. We lost a huge amount of money. Just our fruit stock alone cost several 100,000, probably over 800,000 yuan. If we hadn't left quickly, we would have lost everything, including our lives. I'm telling you, none of this is salvageable. Another large fruit supermarket in the county, Fruit World, was also submerged, and all its goods had to be discarded. The store owner said,
"Our entire sales area, over 1,000 square meters, was flooded. The whole store was submerged, and the damage reached over 1.5 million yuan. The goods lost were over 1 million, and the equipment damage was over 500,000 yuan. Our staff is working overtime to clean everything up. Customers can rest assured, we will dispose of all the goods that were submerged."
On June 19th, the flood peak passed through Shimen County, and the Sanjiangkou Reservoir in the area surpassed the warning water level. The dam has been releasing water at full capacity, and the temporary footbridge near the county's 4 bridges was also destroyed by the flood. Floods have struck areas along the Lishui River in Changde, Taoyuan, Shimen, and Lishan counties. Many towns were swallowed by the flood, and everything is submerged. In many places, there was no government rescue, and villagers are forced to move to higher ground to escape. A local villager posted a video saying, "The water has been flooding for 2 days, and it hasn't receded yet. It's still rising. We're moving from the first floor to the second floor, and we're getting ready to move from the second to the third." On June 20th, villagers in Hekou Town, Changde City, were worried as they watched the river raging, concerned that the river would overflow the embankments and flood their homes. In the video, you can see that the river water has already spilled over part of the embankment. In Cili County, in Zhangjiajie, located at the confluence of the Lishui River and its tributary, the Laoshui, the damage was particularly severe. A villager said,
"This is Cili County in Zhangjiajie, and it's currently raining heavily. This heavy rain has been falling for several days, which caused the Lishui River's water level to rise rapidly. This is the biggest flood on the mainstream of the Lishui River since 1998. Nearby, another river, Laoshui, is flowing rapidly into the Lishui. We faced a dangerous situation with a section of the riverbank. Around 400 to 500 people worked for 6 hours to control the risk. Now, looking over here on the other side of the Lishui, the riverbank is lower, and some river water has already reached the nearby streets. However, the overall impact on the county town isn't huge. But right now, the flood control work in Cili County is under a lot of pressure because many smaller towns are severely affected. So the work to relocate and resettle the people is progressing quickly. Currently, some villagers in Cili County still have no water, no electricity, and no road access.
The dam at the Changtan River Power Station on the Lishui is also releasing water at full capacity.
Here's the latest report from Changtan River Dam. The gates are fully open. The water splashes are at least 2 stories high. Look at this. People downstream, please be sure to take flood precautions.
According to reports from mainland Chinese media, due to recent heavy rainfall, a serious roadbed collapse occurred in the Changtan River section of Provincial Highway 518 in Cili County, Hunan Province. As a result, traffic on the section was completely closed off starting from 7 p.m. on June 20th, and all vehicles are banned from passing.
Yesterday, there was a small crack in the road surface, but now the gap is about half a meter wide. It's not just the road surface. The nearby land is also cracking deeply. This situation is very dangerous. So, we're doing 2 things. First, emergency treatment on site, covering the area with the tarpaulin. Second, strictly controlling traffic on both sides of the road. There are also several landslides along the road, a section of over 100 meters, which had previously been covered with yellow mud, has now been partially eroded. Water continues to flow down from the mountain. When we arrived, we saw 2 excavators working to clear the road.
Along the banks of the Changtan River, there's a risk of the river overflowing, and nearby villages have also been flooded, with residents' homes submerged. As the floodwaters rush downstream, a large amount of debris is also carried along. On June 19th, the Changtan River Bridge, a temporary steel floating bridge built for the construction of a larger bridge, was washed away by the flood. Analysts believe that the bridge collapsed due to the large volume of water and the debris it carried.
Last night, this bridge collapsed. Why did it collapse? Look at all the trash piled up here. The debris and large rocks washed down from above created too much pressure on the bridge. This flood has had a huge impact on us in Zhangjiajie.
According to the Hunan Meteorological Station, from June 18th onwards, strong rainfall affected the northwest and southwest of Hunan Province. As of 2 p.m. on June 20th, the province's average rainfall was 41.5 millimeters, with Zhangjiajie receiving 282 millimeters, Shaanxi receiving 99.6 millimeters, and Changde receiving 96.7 millimeters. Many places have broken local rainfall records for both hourly and daily amounts. This heavy rainfall has significantly impacted the water levels in the Xiang River, Zi River, Yuan River, and Lishui River basins. As a result, secondary disasters such as floods, mudslides, and landslides have occurred frequently, causing severe casualties and property damage. By June 21st, over 400,000 people across 7 cities and counties have been affected. Weather forecasts indicate that from June 22nd to 26th, Hunan will continue to experience heavy rainfall, which may further raise water level in the main and tributary rivers. This round of heavy rainfall has also put immense pressure on flood prevention efforts in the Dongting Lake area, posing a serious threat to the safety of people's lives and property. In Hunan, high mountains and valleys are interspersed. The 4 major rivers in the region eventually flow into Dongting Lake, providing the primary water sources for the lake. The western and southern mountainous areas of Dongting Lake have been hit by strong rainfall, significantly increasing the flow from the 4 source rivers. Meanwhile, due to the release of water from the 3 Gorges reservoir, the water level in the Yangtze River basin has risen, and the flow entering the lake through the 3 outlets has also notably increased. In addition, in the transition areas between the western mountainous areas of Hunan Province and the plains, which is the runoff area for Dongting Lake, the Chinese government has built a large number of reservoirs. The discharge from these reservoirs also puts pressure on flood control efforts in the Dongting Lake area. According to the latest data from Hunan's Water Resources Department, the western region of Hunan has over 4,000 reservoirs, accounting for 1/3 of the total number of reservoirs in the province. Among them, there are 12 large reservoirs with a capacity of over 100 million cubic meters, and 116 medium-sized reservoirs with a capacity of between 10 million and 100 million cubic meters. These reservoirs were mainly built during the water conservancy construction movement from the 1950s to the 1970s. Most of these were constructed by farmers without professional technical guidance, leading to poor engineering quality and making them the typical Tofu-Dreg projects. As of 2023, the total number of reservoirs in Hunan Province was approximately 13,700, with 3,519 categorized as dangerous and risky. Based on this ratio, it is estimated that more than 1,000 of the 4,000 reservoirs in western Hunan are unsafe, carrying the potential risk of dam failure. The Chinese government operates a three-tier responsibility system for managing reservoirs. The managers or reservoir heads are typically high-ranking government officials. Reservoir safety is often part of government performance evaluations, and these results are tied to officials' promotions. However, it is important to note that while these officials are responsible for reservoir safety, they're not held accountable for the safety of people's lives and property, nor is the safety of the population included in their performance evaluations. Therefore, during extreme weather such as heavy rain, officials often prioritize releasing water to protect the dams, and any resulting losses in people's lives and property are not directly their responsibility. They can also attribute the disaster to natural causes. After a flood disaster, local officials often seize the opportunity to take charge of disaster relief operations and enhance their public image. Many infrastructure projects are destroyed in floods and require rebuilding, which are often contracted out in layers, becoming a chance for local officials to profit. For them, floods are a good opportunity, not only to improve their political performance, but also to gain personal benefits from the resulting projects. Additionally, many of China's reservoirs use a contract management system, where contractors are involved in aquaculture, ecotourism, and agricultural irrigation, paying the government a fee. During dry periods, the reservoirs are filled with water for fish farming, reducing the release of water downstream. During heavy rainfall, the water is released to ensure the safety of the dam. Contractors benefit from water sales and are reluctant to empty the reservoirs before a flood arrives. Floods often occur in the rainy season due to unannounced releases of water during the night, which are man-made disasters rather than natural ones. However, after the disaster, the public faces difficulty in protecting their rights, as the authority to determine the cause of the disaster lies with the government. Experts mostly defend the government's image, and those few who speak the truth are subject to public control and find it difficult to speak out. Thus, whenever the rainy season arrives, the numerous reservoirs, large and small, scattered across the country, often become the source of disaster. Many of the reservoirs and rivers in the western and southern regions of Hunan, which eventually flow into the Dongting Lake, are located in this area. The most dangerous regions in the Dongting Lake area are the towns and villages built along the lake. Due to the long history of land reclamation around the lake and sedimentation at the lakebed, these dikes are located in low-lying areas, with many villages often situated below the lakebed level, making flood prevention extremely challenging. Currently, there are 226 dikes in the Dongting Lake area, all built with dams to prevent the lake from flooding. However, during rapid rises in the lake's water level, these dams can break, leading to serious losses for the residents within the dikes. From the 1950s to the 1970s, during the political movements under the Chinese Communist Party, large-scale water conservancy projects were carried out, including the construction of reservoirs around Dongting Lake. These reservoirs disrupted the natural water system of the Dongting Lake basin, causing irreversible and disruptive impacts on the lake. During dry periods, these reservoirs retain water, significantly reducing the volume flowing into Dongting Lake. This results in extremely low water levels, exposing large areas of the lakebed. The excessive development of the lakebed, including farming and fish farming, has further damaged the lakebed structure, creating deep ravines and numerous ponds. This disruption of natural sedimentation patterns has led to a rapid decline in water quality. From 1959 to 1978, the local government's policy of advancing into the lake area to seize land for crops led to a significant reduction in the lake's surface area, shrinking by over 400 square kilometers. During the flood season, the lake's surface area dropped sharply from approximately 4,200 square meters in 1949 to 2,625 square meters in 1983, and today it is less than 1,100 square kilometers, just a quarter of its original size, under the early CCP era. Furthermore, CCP-led campaigns like planting rice on mountains, reforesting land by removing crops, and returning farmland to forests caused serious damage to the surrounding forests and vegetation in the lake area, affecting the sand content in the four rivers and altering the sedimentation patterns in the lake. Since the Three Gorges project began operation in 2003, its impact on Dongting Lake has been profound. The implementation of seasonal clear water storage and muddy water discharge has significantly reduced the sediment content and discharge from the Yangtze River, altering the seasonal water fluctuations. Now, during the dry season, the water level remains stable and the water is clear, while during the wet season, the discharge is more balanced, causing changes in the riverbed structure. This has directly affected the water exchange between the Three Gorges Dam's three outlets, the Songci, Taiping, and Ochi, thus impacting the inflow and outflow systems of Dongting Lake. Scholars such as Tong Qianming have pointed out that after the Three Gorges project began, the hydrological influence of the Yangtze River on Dongting Lake has become a regular occurrence. Particularly during the water shortage phase at the end of the flood season, reduced upstream water flow causes Dongting Lake to experience periodic water shortages, and drought events have become more frequent. Analysis of multiple flood and drought cases shows that the Three Gorges project, to some extent, has amplified the disaster effects. When there is more rain in the middle and upper reaches of the Yangtze River, the Three Gorges must release more water to ensure safety in the reservoir area and prevent flooding in the upstream areas of Chongqing. This intensifies the flooding in the Dongting Lake area. The breach in the levee in Huarong County on July 5, 2024, is a typical example of this mechanism. Conversely, when there is less water flow, the Three Gorges must store water for power generation and reduce discharge, leading to a sharp decrease in water entering Dongting Lake, further worsening the drought. The Three Gorges Reservoir has also caused the lowest water level in Dongting Lake to occur a month earlier than usual, and its water replenishment ability is extremely limited. The operation of the Three Gorges project has also triggered regional climate changes. Studies show that the annual rainfall in the Dongting Lake area has decreased by 95 millimeters, and the annual evaporation has increased by 47.1 millimeters, which is another important factor contributing to the reduction of water resources. According to scholars who conducted a study based on remote sensing data and hydrological information from 1994 to 2019, before the operation of the Three Gorges project, Dongting Lake's average annual surface area was over 1,000 square kilometers, but after the project began, this shrank to 857 square kilometers, a reduction of about 20%. The exchange of water in the lake area has been obstructed, and eutrophication inside the dikes is severe, far exceeding the levels seen in external natural water bodies. Dongting Lake, as the only lake in the Yangtze River basin, plays a vital role in flood control, water purification, and ecological stability. It is rightly referred to as the kidney of the Yangtze River. It is crucial for flood regulation, water quality improvement, and biodiversity. However, under the long-term interference and misguided governance of the Chinese Communist Party, this kidney of the Yangtze is gradually deteriorating, and the surrounding population is suffering from both water and drought disasters. Floodwaters in the lake area continue to repeat, and downstream areas like Wuhan are also bearing the consequences.